documentary or something?
Yeah.
Is Brooklyn in here tonight? Brooklyn, 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 Brooklyn,
What's up? This is me, your regular young debonair black man, and this is my home, Brooklyn, New York. Well, at least it was my home until it started to get gentrified. As many people, you may be asking, what is gentrification?
Do you want to give your favorite definition of what you mean when you say that word?
And I was talking to a few people about this just in the past few days and found out it's a tough word even to say, gentrification.
Let alone define.
And then to figure out what it is. And so what I really, when I was talking to people in my neighborhood that have seen a lot of change, the newcomers to the neighborhood tend to be higher income and they have different jobs and occupations than the people that settled there 25 years ago or 40 years ago. I think what I'm talking about then is that sort of the change that happens, and there are both positive and negative elements to it. More often, people will complain about the cost of coffee goes up, or that you can't find a good piece of cheese because gentrification hasn't arrived yet. So you hear it put in very practical terms about what does gentrification look like at the neighborhood level.
No.
It's basically the raising the capital in the city by increasing business revenue, and at the same time moving in different class, mostly middle upper class, to certain underdeveloped neighborhoods, with the unfortunate consequence of displacing low income, usually minority residents, is what you could describe it as.
Now that's better. In actuality, the term gentrification was coined in 1964 by a British sociologist, Ruth Glass. She states while observing social structure changes in her urban London neighborhood that, quote, one by one, many of the working class quarters have been invaded by the middle class, upper and lower. Once this process of gentrification starts in the district, it goes on rapidly until all or most of the working class occupiers are displaced and the whole social character of the district is changed.
So there's a lot of pride that came into where you came from within Brooklyn itself. So Brooklyn was very different in the sense of had these different neighborhoods that all repped each other. Also that the city of Brooklyn itself had its own character.
It's to go outside, see my friends outside playing double dutch, hopscotch. There's barbecues going on, there's loud conversation, there's fun happening. That was Brooklyn for me.
Well, in my neighborhood, it was like every kid's playground. So every day after school, after you do work and all that, you go outside, play, you see a whole bunch of kids, a whole bunch of adults watching you. You always had the supervision. There would be no parents that would ever be afraid of their children being outside at a certain time or anything, because they know that everyone who's outside is always friendly. I had an open community in my neighborhood, so it was nothing but love and parties and block parties.
The culture is extremely important, just in Brooklyn in general, because we pride ourselves on just being from Brooklyn because of the music, how we grew up, the tough terrain. Because there's a saying, Brooklyn people, you will never find a person like a Brooklyn, like somebody from Brooklyn. You'll never find one, and it was just the culture's different.
So we've heard what it was like growing up in Brooklyn, but how were we able to tell when gentrification was coming?
Was that Starbucks coming from Brownsville, boy?
Starbucks in Brownsville for real?
At night. When it comes up, I gotta move out, because that's how you know.
That might be it.
We're not gonna have different type of cars. It's gonna be minivans, because you got soccer moms or whatever moms, karate moms, whatever, driving and stuff.
In Brooklyn, it was very easy to know when gentrification was coming because
when you're in the train.
I literally remember taking the train to school and coming back and seeing people get off at the first 4 stops in Brooklyn and not going further. And now there are people who I never thought would be getting off at Flatbush Avenue, Brooklyn College, white people, young professionals getting off there, and I'm just so not used to it.
I noticed that just a change in like demographic that take the train. Because when I went, because I get off at Grand Avenue, and usually when I used to get off, there would just be black and Latino, just black and Latino. Now, half of the train consists of white people, and I'm just like, that's crazy. The thought of it is just crazy. I don't know what to make of it sometimes. Like,
Since when? That was not a thing last year.
But what does gentrification do to the people and the culture?
So I feel like people don't move to Brooklyn with malicious intent to like get rid of everyone that lives there and make it their own. But I will say I think Brooklyn was romanticized for being like other than, so not necessarily like the city, and more, I guess, artsy, and had more character than maybe living in Manhattan. But I think inherently with so many people, new people moving in and trying to make Brooklyn their home, even if they didn't think they were changing the culture, they are, because they're opening businesses, they're opening new stores, and they're bringing parts of them, like themselves, to Brooklyn, and that's not necessarily the best thing for the people that already live there.
That type of flavor is gone because everywhere is gentrified. Like everywhere you go, it's the same type of store. So there's no pride, there's no differences. So it's the same type of stores. Now they're making condos out of old manufacturing places. So it's the same type of housing. And the same type of people that live in the same type of housing. So you can't really differentiate Bed-Stuy from certain parts of Crown Heights no more. That culture is like cut out completely. There's no like Crown Heights culture. There's no Bed-Stuy culture. There's no Bushwick culture. You know what I mean?
You can go to a different community and you can find somebody that you don't even know. You say what up to them, and that's how crazy it is. That's being diminished day by day, and you don't even see. Like my friends are forced to move out too, so I don't even see them anymore. Like a lot of my boys are going, and that's basically, and people are just put on the streets now.
In an article written by Hannah Halberts for Curb.com, she states that in April 2015, Brooklyn's median rental price jumped 5.6% to a record $2,961.
Because I know now in New York City that rents are being like $1,800 for a single, like a condo or anything, you know. So it's like, how are you expecting families to survive with low income wages, living in places such as New York City where they've been living their whole lives, and with prices at $3,000 where they was only paying like $1,000 or $800 a month.
So, what do you think will become of our neighborhoods? Like, what do you think will become of our home after a while?
Whose neighborhood? Ours? We don't have it anymore. That's not ours no more.
Why do you say that?
They gonna put me out just like everybody else out.
So what can we do to change it?
Find a way to have the voices of the actual residents heard at the same level as the others who live in here.
Promote small businesses in these areas.
I say like become a homeowner and buy the houses.
Affordable housing that's created for middle class and lower class people.
Stopping the deregulation of the federal government.
I know there's something that should be done, and that answer will probably be discovered soon, but I don't know.
I love my home. I would just hate to see it disappear.
But if a man tests my style, I promise he won't like my reply. Boom, bye-bye like Bourgeois, I'm crucial. I'm a Brooklyn boy, I may take some getting used to. Chain snatching, ain't have it, gotta get it. Same from Brownsville to Brain British. Fatherless child, mama put double shift, so the number runners was the only one to hang with him. Before you know it, I'm in the game, bang fit him. Fit no orangutans, pit ill kid apps like oranges is, I'm dangerous. Tell me what the name of this